How's it going, everyone? I've deleted the video I've been trying to do a few times, but I think I'm just going to let this one roll. So I hope you all will stay with me and enjoy the ride of this real-time unedited video. First off, I'm noticing that I'm very gray. I am going to turn 46 years old this year, so yeah, the gray is there. I was watching some of my old videos and I have like a totally brown beard and hair all around young Jeremy. Now I'm older Jeremy. And it's weird. Whenever I get to the point that I do a video, I kind of feel this stirring within me, like it's time to do a video. I may not necessarily know what I'm going to talk about, but it becomes apparent that I need to share something. My body's getting ready to speak about something. And this YouTube channel and the small clan of people here that watch my videos, y'all have been like a good clan, a good community of people for me to have a way to share my thoughts, especially when I'm just sitting here alone on a Sunday. So I appreciate that. It's like my community, my social circle, if you want to call it that. And yeah, I just appreciate it. So men and women are interesting. The relationship dynamics between men and women are interesting in this world. My own journey of relationships and dating has been interesting to me. Oftentimes I've looked to others for guidance and advice about this, but I read something very interesting from Elon Musk recently. Whether you like or hate him, I think this statement is pretty accurate. If you want to get to the source of truth of something, you cannot just rely on mainstream media. And I'm going to add to this. You cannot just rely on your parents, your friends, your religious leaders, people at the company you work for. You can certainly look for perspectives from those people, of course. But the real best way to come to truth is through your own observation, through your own experiences, through your own intuition, and just through your own learning and understanding of the situation as it pertains to you and what you've seen happen in life. And that will give you a pretty good idea of the truth about something. It's not like it'll always give you 100% picture of the truth, because there's people living in different areas of the world under different circumstances. So there's always a little bit more beyond ourselves. But I think we can get a pretty good idea of truth living our lives like a scientist and going out and experimenting and seeing what happens. And largely that is my archetype and way of being. And I've learned a lot about myself as a man. I've learned a lot about other men, and especially a lot about women through my journey over the last almost 9 years now. Because before that, I had never really dated that much, gone out that much. When I got married to my now ex-wife in December 2nd, 2000, both of us were virgins and had never had sex before. I was 22 and she was 19, or let's see, maybe she's 20. She's probably not watching this, so. But that was, I think that's unique and rare in today's world for two people to get married that are both virgins. I don't think that's very common. But that kind of was my first experience with a real long-lasting relationship. I had a couple girlfriends in high school in 11th and 12th grade when I was 17 and 18 years old. But those ended pretty quickly after a month and a half. And it's kind of interesting because most of my experiences, whenever I have started to get to know a woman, it like lasts about 6 weeks or a month and a half. That pattern since high school kind of is appeared. So I've noticed this pattern that for me and a woman to get past this magical 6 week to 2 month mark, she has to be pretty special. There has to be something pretty unique about her and I together that's somewhat magical, at least. And, anyways, I had two short girlfriends in high school. Things ended. I got to experience what it was like to have breakups, many breakups in high school. And yeah, I got married to my now ex-wife. She and I were married for 14 years. And I liked her at first more than she liked me. And she kind of rejected me the first time I told her I liked her and asked her out. And instinctively, I just kind of said, oh, well, and gave up and was really sad. But little did I know that that act was actually the right thing to do. That when someone's not interested in you, you just allow it. And you take a step back and move on, basically. And then this was all happening in 2000, like spring to summer of 2000. And then 3 months later, she called me, 3 months or so, I don't know the exact time. She called me on the phone, and then we started hanging out almost every day. And that was my first real relationship, the first time I felt like a long-lasting relationship. And then I asked her to marry me like 4 or 5 months later, and we were married for 14 years, have two daughters that are 15 and 13 right now. 15-year-old will be 16 very soon. Lived the family life for 14 years, going on trips, many drives to Washington State, trips to Hawaii, cruises to Alaska and the Caribbean, taking the kids through birth to preschool, and having 4 cats. Like I have this chunk of my life, this 14-year chunk of my life that I was married and a husband, and I'm still a father, of course, to my 2 daughters. That hasn't changed, but the husband part has changed. I'm a partner with Heidi, my ex-wife, and raising our 2 daughters, but that role of husband is gone from me. But the role of father, which I think is the more important role, is there. A husband is still an important role, I think, or a good, strong male partner. But I'll get to that in a little bit. But I ended that situation. There's lots of videos on my channel you can watch where I talk about that, and someday when my journals are released, you can read much more intimately about that. But ultimately, I felt like Heidi deserved to find someone who was much more aligned in the areas of life she was aligned to, religiously and otherwise. And I am more of a seeker, adventurer, scientist, needed freedom to explore life on my own terms. That's kind of the Cliff Notes version of it. And as well, someone came into my life, into my view, that helped me make that decision, gave me the courage to do so. Anyways, all of that is on more detail in my videos. I'm very transparent about it. So that was my first time I broke up with someone, was when I ended my marriage. So I got, and didn't make it any easier, really. I've learned that in a relationship or situation with someone, I used to think it's much better if you break up with them. I don't feel that way anymore. I think it's difficult if 2 people connect and it ends for any reason. I think it's difficult because you've built up a bond and a connection. Even if one person has lost attraction or interest, you still don't erase the memories in that bond. And that initial time apart can be difficult because you go through kind of drug withdrawals of the situation and that person. So breakups are incredibly difficult. That's been a theme of my journey over the last almost 9 years, is breakups. You guys and gals can look at my videos from last year around this time, and I broke up with someone I was strongly considering marrying. That was incredibly difficult. It was very hard, and lots of tears were shed on both sides. And so I've gotten experience breaking up with people and being broken up with, and both of them suck. It sucks either way. There's no advantage to either one. I would say that in the past there was an advantage to me being broken up with, because it propelled me forward to look inwardly at myself and what I need to change to be a stronger, better man, so that I can be more attractive and interesting or whatever I need to be to retain someone so they don't break up with me. Because if someone breaks up with me, I think there's a reason. And then I have to believe that there's something I was not providing or doing conditionally for that person that made them not interested anymore, or I degraded or was not exactly what they thought I was. Something happened to cause it. And that's the way I look at it. I look at it as an opportunity for me to grow and learn and to shore up myself and try to do better. And if I break up with someone, generally it's been because there's been several reasons. One is I don't feel like I'm the exact correct fit for that person, which was hard for my last relationship because we were a very good fit in many different ways. But I knew deep down that there was a better fit for her than even me, and she found it. And I can see that that is the case. And so I'm like, wow, I think I was right about that. And then other times I've experienced what I think women have experienced with me. So I've been with a woman, and then she has sort of degraded or taken a step back from who she was. And I said, wait a minute, this woman is not who I thought she was. And as I look back in the past when that happened and I started to lose attraction and interest, I can now say, oh, so when I started crying in front of a woman or looking less of a strong man and a woman lost attraction for me, that's kind of, I can kind of see it from their perspective. The conditional nature of relationships that exists. I think in most relationships, there's very much a conditional, transactional state to it. Us as humans, generally, in general, not all of us. There are outliers, which I'll get to. But I think most of us want someone that we admire, respect, look up to. At least for me, as a man in my situations with women, the women that have stuck around that I have broken up with, it's because that woman saw me as the man, as the best person they could find for them. And so those women were willing to move heaven and earth to be with me. And my learnings is that as a man, that's what you want. If you want to be in a relationship or married or anything else, you want a woman who sees you that way, sees you as the king of the castle, the top dog, the man. And if she does not see you that way, and I think this goes from men to women as well, like a man needs to see his woman and say, wow, what an incredible person. I truly adore this person. You have to feel like that this person is at the top of the tier that you can do in your life. Otherwise, you always wonder if you could do better or get someone else. So, yeah, I think that's been my learnings, is that the women that have broken up with me is because I was not who they thought I was. I became more feminine or validating or all these things that for a lot of women is a turnoff. Unfortunately, I think who I am as a man ultimately is not a good fit for the majority of women on this earth. And that's a tough pill to swallow, because I'm not this alpha, loud, aggressive man. I'm not assertive and dominant and um, this alpha type leader that is polarizing to women. I think a lot of women like that. They even if they say they don't like that, they respond to it. They're attracted to that because those women are more passive and looking for someone who's a protector, an aggressor, someone who takes charge because it fills in the gaps for them where they are not that way. So I understand that. But there's this 10%, I'm calling it the 10% club that I've noticed for women. Um, and I don't know if it's exactly 10%. It could be 5%, could be 15%. I don't know the exact percent, but it's a low percent. I would call these women very conscious, highly evolved, conscious women. And those set of women, my last relationship was one of those types of women. I know that this set of women is the only type of woman I can really be with in anything long term. And they value kindness, empathy, vulnerability, and things in a man that a typical woman does not value in a man. Now, I don't agree that I can be just a whining loser of a man that's eating potato chips and watching Netflix all day while my bank account drains dry and I lose my job and I cry about it without doing anything about it with solutions. I still believe that I, as a man, need to be a problem solver. I need to be masculine. I need to be strong. I still need to take charge, but my way of doing all of that is very subtle and silent and not loud or abrasive. I'm a very calm, seeking to be calm, centered, and an empathetic type of man. So I convey traits that are often viewed as feminine along with masculine traits. Like I can go to the gym, I can punch and kick a heavy bag, I can lift weights, I can grunt, I can do things that are very masculine, war cries, things of that nature. So I have that as well, but I feel I have rounded it out with characteristics that are also considered feminine, such as empathy, kindness, vulnerability, those kinds of things. And 10%-ish of women appreciate those kinds of things. So that's been a great reveal of my journey, is this revealing of the 10% club of women. And I think a lot of you women on my channel are in that 10% club. You value those kinds of things. And you truly value them, because someone can say they value it, but then they're turned off by it if it happens. I know that this 10% club, if I'm around a woman like that, I can cry my eyes out for hours and I will be held and not dismissed in any way. In fact, it'll be viewed as a strength. It'll be an attraction gainer versus an attraction loser. My ability to cry and show my emotions and not hide it because I need to be some strong alpha. On the flip side, I can see why it's a turnoff to a lot of women, for that vulnerability and crying as well. Because life can be harsh. Life requires decisiveness. Life can be dangerous. Life is difficult. And if a man is sitting around crying and moping and challenges are rampant and things are difficult and decisiveness is needed, that's a dangerous, scary situation for a woman. Women are more vulnerable in this world than men to physical hardships, and because men are just built bigger and stronger in general, like the biology's just that way. And so a lot of women look for a strong man who can handle harsh conditions and not cry and freeze up. So I understand that too, and I think both are okay. But I truly admire this 10% club of women that has been revealed to me in my journey. And I don't think I knew this 10% club existed until my last relationship with Chelsea. I think I started to realize especially the times I cried in front of her and she held space for it. And then I started to think about other women that did the same thing. And I said, I think I'm noticing something here. And I think I'm becoming more aligned to attracting that type of person in my life. Whereas in the beginning stages of my journey, I spent a lot of time around women who weren't like that and didn't truly see me as a king of the castle. But they may have thought, well, Jeremy's kind of cute and he's tall and he has these things. So they kind of liked me, but they weren't in that 10% club. So my journey has revealed this to me. I know I am an unconventional man, that I am a match for about 10%. It doesn't mean I can't talk to the other 90% of women. I don't think that's the case. But I understand myself. I understand who I am and what I am, and I'm at peace with this. I'm not going to try and change it because I think I am this way. I can learn. I've learned a lot on my journey. I've learned to draw upon my strength from within and not seek external validation for that. I can still cry if I'm having a hard day and all of that stuff, but ultimately my strength is for me to draw upon and for me to find. My happiness is for me to find from within. I am the source of good energy and light and joy. It comes from me. It's up to me. I truly believe that. And it's up to me to solve problems in my life. I can't look to someone else to solve my problems or fix what I think is going wrong with me in my life. It's up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. I've learned so many lessons. And every time I've had a breakup in the past, I've learned something about being a better leader, taking more initiative, being accepting of myself. Lots of different things. So many different things. And I think all of those times I got broken up with, it gave me a chance to be a better man. But where I sit now at 45 years of age, I sort of feel like that part of my life has ended, where I get broken up with and I have to go on this journey to fix what was wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with me. I am the way I am, and I fully accept myself as that way of being. And yes, there's always more to learn. I'm a student of life. I feel like a small seedling still, but I've learned that I'm very acceptable as I am right now, exactly as I am right now. And I also think of myself highly because of all the things I've learned and the things I've gone through to be where I am, as I think many humans have. If you've gone through difficulties in your life and you've grown and learned, then that's a badge of pride as a human, to level up and be better than you were in the past. And you should take pride in that, I think. So we're at 23 and a half minutes. I'm very curious. If you've watched to 23 and a half minutes, say, let me rephrase this. I would love to hear from you. You don't have to say anything in the comments, but making it to 23 and a half minutes means you have been sitting here. Even if you fast forwarded a little bit or clicked in the bar to get this far, that's fine. Curious to hear from you and what you think of this video so far. But this has been one of the great fascinations of my journey of personal growth and discovery, is all the learnings that have taken place through dating and the relationships I've had in my past, and all the learnings and happiness and joy and sadness and difficulty that has been wrapped around it. One of the primary lessons I've learned is that in general, the women I want don't want me as much. And the women that want me, I don't want them as much. This is probably something I've shared before in past videos. But everybody I've talked to and seen goes through this. Even the top tier celebrity, millionaires, models, whoever it is goes through this. They all have someone they really like that didn't want to be with them, or vice versa, if they're on the same journey of growth and dating and they just haven't found their one soulmate and stayed married. And that's been a very fascinating phenomenon as well. So I look in the past and people I have broken up with someone I said I didn't want to be with anymore. It was usually because I didn't want them as much as they wanted me. And the people who broke up with me didn't want me as much as I wanted them. And like, that's really interesting. It's a very interesting phenomenon. And I think us as humans can feel that. And I'm like, damn, I am subject to this phenomenon as well. Like, I can feel it when someone really wants me, and I'm kind of like, it's almost like you just take that person for granted. You don't care what happens. It's like, whatever. And then when you really like someone, you start to get nervous. Like, if I really, really like someone or I'm really attracted to them, my voice can get shaky. And if I try to go talk to them, I feel so awkward. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to mess this up. And I put them on a pedestal. They're so much better than me because I like them so much. And when someone does that to me, I feel it. So chances are that other person I do that to is going to feel it too. And can you change that? I don't know if I can change this phenomenon. It's like that person I really like, it's not like they're this special, amazing, it's just a woman, like just a woman who I think is really attractive and interesting, but still just a woman. To some other guy, she's probably just another person. But to me, yeah, it's just a fascinating phenomenon. So that's been a huge revealer, a huge lesson in my journey of growth and discovery and dating. And, I think I talked about this when I shared my video, almost nine years on the journey of growth and discovery. That was a fun video to share, but I'm kind of just talking more about it. I think maybe I could call this the journey of growth and discovery part 2. So I wonder, I guess what I'm sitting here wondering is it, I don't know if it's possible for me to attract someone where I think they're better than me, or I like them way more than they like me. I don't think it's possible. Like, I actually think there's a law against this. And it could just be a law as a man to a woman, masculine, feminine energy. Or it could just be that I'm just not authentic when I'm talking to someone like that. Whatever the reasons are, there's probably a list of reasons. I have not been able to violate this law for very long. Yes, I've been able to date and go out with someone I really liked and was like, whoa, she's amazing. For a short time, but it always ends. It always ends. And I wonder if there is this innate ability for us as humans to know where we stand with someone. If a woman broke up with me or wasn't interested after a date or two or more, it's probably because who I was as a person wasn't the best she thought she could do. She probably thought there's someone she could do better with, or was better for her, or could give her more than I could. And that's fair. That's called reality, evolution, the harsh reality of the world. Like, life in the world is like that. The competition and evolution of the world. At my job that I go to every day, I have to perform at a certain level, or I will be laid off, fired, etc. So I have to meet standards in my life, or I get knocked down the socioeconomic ladder. I know that there is a path of destruction if I lose my ability to perform at work or in the creation of things that the world values. It is a path to homelessness and death. As harsh as that sounds, that is the path of not engaging with the world and not bringing value to the world, is homelessness and death. Now, you might have family and friends that are willing to take care of you, but if you are a burden, if you're like just dirtying up the place and not being kind and considerate, you're gonna be on the streets. Like that's the ultimate destination I see for not bringing value to this world. It's like, wow, that's a harsh reality. Why can't I just exist? Why can't I just be me without this constant pressure to be a certain way, to live? And I think some people have found a way around this. They go live in tents or on a farm and grow their own food and make their own clothes and live very cheaply. I think you can get around this in some ways, for sure. But in general, the socioeconomic, when I say socioeconomic, I mean social and economic. These are two very important things in the world. Like, being viewed as someone useful is a social type of thing. Like, I am a software engineer for my day job, and people know I can do that. That gives me the ability to earn money in the economic part of the world, which allows me to pay a rent or have a mortgage like I do on this condo, and buy a Tesla that I have, the Model 3 that I have, and go out to a nice dinner every once in a while, or have a gym membership, or do various things that allow me to insert myself into the world. Now, you don't necessarily need money for all of this, but it certainly helps a lot to have some amount of money. And so to be able to integrate with people and have some amount of money, unfortunately, it seems to be, fortunately or unfortunately, however you view it, is an important part of life. Just is. So my journey of growth and discovery has also led me to that reality that I must engage with this world, bring some value to it, or be destroyed. I have seen people die, people that I've known close die because they did not integrate with the world and give something to this world or engage with life. And they were taken out of this life by the loss of their health, by not moving around and engaging with the world. It's just a harsh reality of truth. Got to see it exactly as it is. And so, yeah, these are just some of my thoughts. The 10% Club, I'll call this video the 10% Club of Women and More, because, yeah, it's 32 minutes, almost 33 minutes now in this video. I haven't edited it, so that's good. But I'm curious to hear some of your thoughts on this world and your view of economics and money, your view of men and women in relationships. Certainly that's been a big theme of my channel. I think all these videos started to get views when I started to talk about twin flames, and I was vulnerable about a situation I had where someone left me. I mean, I think my whole journey started because of that. My journey started because someone left me. And this person and I, after she left, came back and we even talked a little bit. But ultimately, it didn't happen for various reasons. And I think one of the main reasons was she saw me in a different light, and that I was just not the right type of person for her. And I saw that from me to her as well, by the way. I saw that very, very late into 2014. I was like, I don't think this person is a person for me if she can kind of walk out like that. But you can watch more about that in previous videos. But yeah, I think this whole journey began because of that situation. It got me to research, and I discovered the whole twin flame concept because of that. And then as I've progressed and learned, or at least tried to progress as a man, kind of trying to learn his way through life and seek to understand, I've realized a lot of the times a twin flame label gets created because our ego has been shattered by someone who didn't want us. So we've got to conjure up some kind of label that makes it super significant to us to make us feel better about it. I think in some cases that's true, not all cases. In some cases it's true. Certainly in that original situation, there was a lot of love at one time, and it went away. Um, I did a lot of the things that have turned women off with her. I cried in front of her and I was weak and needy. So crying, weakness, neediness are a big turnoff to a lot of women. And to this 10% club, they are turned on if it's not done all the time. If you don't become a complete blubbering loser of a man, of course. Like, I don't think that's attractive to any woman, is if you're just like a little suckling, constantly needing attention, like a lost puppy that has to be taken care of all the time. I don't think that's attractive. But a display of vulnerability and emotion and truth, I think, is very powerful. And I wish more men were like that, because if more men were like that, including top tier men, women would have to work with it and accept it. But I believe it should be done from a place of strength and self-validation. It should never be done because you need something from someone else or want something from someone else. It should be of your own accord. You choose to do it from a place of strength. And I've certainly done it from a place of weakness before and seen the drastic flip in a woman's view toward me. Women who have said to me, I could never see anyone leaving you. You're so special. You're just in the top echelon of men. I've had women say that to me, and then a few weeks, month later, want nothing to do with me because I displayed some vulnerable or other thing that was a turnoff. That's fascinating to me. But this is my own experience. This is one lens from my own brain and view of life. I'm just sharing one person's experience. There's billions on this planet. Your experience is likely a little different than mine, and I understand that. We're all kind of the center of our realities in this world. So I'm simply here to share my story and various things that may make you go, that's interesting. But maybe your experience is a little different, or maybe there's some things I'm saying that resonate. And I know a lot of you on my channel are women and part of this 10% club of women. So I'm also aware of that fact. And you all appreciate my ability to be vulnerable and convey thoughts and ideas and insights and that kind of thing. Good conversation matters to you types of women. Like really deeply diving and connecting. And those things are important to me too, which is why I think I vibe with this smaller percentage of women so well. But yeah, these are just some of my learnings. Just felt like sharing all these 38 minutes now into this video. The great reveal, two great reveals, the reveal of the 10% club of women, a more highly evolved and conscious subset of women, as well as learning that in general, the people you want don't want you as much. And the people that want you, you don't want them as much. It's been very hard for me to see exceptions to this rule. It seems like a pretty grounded rule. Yes, I think it's possible to have equality between two people, or at least both people highly valuing the other, but it always seems like even if it's a smidge more, there's always someone who's a little more wanting the other, even if it's just slightly. And maybe it has to be that way for there to be a truly polarizing and attractive and long-lasting relationship between two people. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just 45 and trying to figure life out. So what do I know? So here at 39 minutes and 5 seconds, I'm going to end this video, but I'd like to say thank you to all of you. I am feeling a little bit better. I started taking a bunch of herbs that I took in 2019 for Lyme disease and reintroduced them, and those have helped for sure. Cemento and banderol, as well as wormwood, artemisinin. There's various herbs that kill parasites and stealth microbes that I've learned about. I've sort of become an alchemist, so I know how to combat difficult to kill microbes in my body. And generally, I think if you're having autoimmune issues or health challenges like that, they're gene related or microbe related. And in my case, I think they're microbe related, microbial organisms. So just another thing to share. Why not? So I can take this video to 40 minutes. Okay, that's it. If you watched it this far, wow, thank you. You're appreciated. It means the world to me that you watched all of this. I don't know what's going to become of me in my journals whenever the point of death comes to me. Hopefully that's in 50 plus years. And I feel like these videos in my journals are kind of my true legacy to leave behind. And whatever money I can make and leave behind to my daughters as well, I think will be great. And the continued learnings on my journey of growth and discovery, I'll keep sharing them as I come across them. I believe we're put on this earth to learn and grow and make the most of it that we can, that we're mortal, and the mortality creates perspective for us to make the most of life that we can. And the things that are most difficult that people do, that makes you courageous. And that's all I've got to say. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Much appreciation and love. Namaste. See you in the next video.